Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is HD the Rapper. Not really. I'm coming back at you guys with another game here of StarCraft 2. Oh my god, I don't even know what is going on right now. I just had way too much candy today. I'm foaming from the mouth right now from all the glucose that is basically conglomerating itself into my blood vessels. But anyways, coming at you guys with another broadcast here. I might just bust out a rap song in the middle of this or some bad boy beats. But yeah, we have game number 2 between Rytra and MMA. Of course, MMA playing on the Alden's account. He is the blue Terran down in the bottom right hand corner. He already lost one game to Rytra in pretty spectacular Warp Prism fashion. I mean, I gotta say, Rytra is just a boss at using the Warp Prism. That's what he's been known for even before the patch that buffed the Warp Prism and made it super strong as it is today in modern day Protoss play. Rytra was still using Warp Prism, so I mean, honestly, Rytra was probably the happiest little girl in school when he found out that, you know, the Warp Prism's getting a buff. I mean, who wouldn't be if your favorite unit is going to be buffed up? I mean, for me, like, if the Hydralisk was going to get a buff, I would probably forego, I don't know, I'd forego going to Halloween today. If I knew that that was happening, I would just hop on ladder and just destroy fools. Speaking of which, in Heart of the Swarm, Zerg is going to be getting a buff to Hydras. They're going to get muscular augments and they're going to have a speed buff. So that's going to be pretty smexy. I'm pretty excited about that. There's actually right now a custom game out in StarCraft 2 that allows you to play Heart of the Swarm and all the units and upgrades and everything. I thought that was really cool. I was thinking about making a video about it. I don't know what you guys would think, so I guess I'll just ask you guys right now in the community. How would you guys feel if, you know, I made a video about the Heart of the Swarm, quote-unquote Heart of the Swarm custom game? Because essentially it is basically Heart of the Swarm, just not exactly the right unit models. Like the units don't look right, but the upgrades and the spells and the actual units for what they do, it is correct. So I don't know what you guys think about that. If you guys, you know, if it's a unanimous yes in the comments below, then I'll go ahead and make a video about it. If not, then, you know, I'll just twiddle my thumbs and eat some more chocolate. But anyways, by the way, I dressed up as a pirate. I wore the same eye patch I wore for IPL that one night that my contact cracked and shattered in my eye. I decided to be a pirate. I had a parrot. I had a parrot at home, and not a real parrot. It was like an origami paper parrot. Put it on my shoulder, taped it up, and got a pirate hat, and, you know, went around and got some candies. That was pretty fun. I don't know. Tell me what you guys were for Halloween. So anyways, oh yeah, if you guys get a chance, follow me on Facebook and Twitter. My Facebook account is basically, if you just go on Facebook and go to search and type in HD StarCraft, you guys will see me. I'm the nerd. I'm actually wearing my pirate eye patch in that picture. You guys can follow me on Twitter, well, at HD StarCraft, where you guys can stalk me and, you know, listen to my conversations with random people. But this is interesting. MMA building a bunker here at the front door. Actually, this is almost looking like a Terran versus Zerg. But the SCV goes down. So that really didn't do much. And these Marines are like, oh, derp, no home to run into. But they are going to be able to repel the probes. Actually get a 1 kill. Not too bad from MMA. MMA doing some pretty fancy schmancy micro here. But it looks like with the Zealot that has now run out the front door, those Marines are probably going to have to run for their life. And Rytra actually chasing these Marines down with his 4 probes. This is a lot of mining time lost. I mean, even that probe with 5 minerals isn't able to return it at this moment. But he is going to get a surround on 1 Marine. Okay, so he turns his Zealot around, gets that Marine kill. And then the 4 probes are going to go back home to mine. I don't know if that was worth killing a Marine, though. I mean, that was 50 minerals for a Marine. These probes certainly would have returned more than 50 minerals in the time that they were out abroad the map. So Rytra with some interesting game decisions there, but you know, as it stands, both players are gearing up for a macro game, as MMA is getting an expansion right away. A couple barracks inside his base right now. Rytra also getting a couple of gateways. No signs yet to indicate that he's going to go for a robotics facility. You know, only has 1 gas. Already built down 2 gates. But yeah, certainly looks like it's going to be a macro game. But then you also got to remember, this is Terminus with both players spawning close by air. And a player like Rytra, very well versed in the Warp Prism techniques. And a player like MMA, who's also really well versed in Marines and medevacs and Marauders. You know, it could end up being pretty quick. We'll just have to see. And if that's the case, you know, I feel like MMA is going to have a slight advantage because he can drop right into the main, whereas Rytra can't really drop into the main. He can only drop into the 3rd, and then he has to go to the natural and then to the main. But the one advantage Rytra gets is his expansions are going to be going away from MMA, whereas MMA's expansions are going to be going, you know, towards Rytra in a counterclockwise fashion. So it's a little bit of trade-offs here or there. A Marauder and 4 Marines at the front door. This time the front wall definitely a lot more secure than the last time. That's for damn sure, and that's going to keep the Stalkers away. But, you know, Wyvern's going to be happy to take that Xel'Naga Tower control for now. Keep in mind, guys, this is from the, I believe it's from the IPL 3 Championship bracket. I'm getting deja vu casting this game because I've definitely casted it at Atlantic City. But this is a best of 3, so it could, I believe it was single elimination, so whoever loses this series actually just got knocked out of the tournament. And the grand prize, I don't know, was like 50K. It was a lot of money. So, you know, it's a lot of money on the line here for these two players, and you know, White makes his living, MMA makes his living too playing StarCraft 2, so neither player here wants to drop the ball, and they're definitely going to be going all out. Now here's something interesting, a little bit of a change up for White. I see a Twilight Council going down, but I'm not entirely sure where it's being warped. There it is. Nope. There it is. Nope. Oh man, I'm so confused right now. I have no idea where that... Okay, there it is. So there's a Twilight Council coming up for White. It looks like he's going to go into Blink Stalkers. He could go into Dark Templars, based on the fact that he doesn't really have that many Stalkers on the ground. But it really is up in the air right now, based on... Okay, so he's adding on a lot more Warp Gates. I think he's going to go for Blink Stalkers here, guys. Which, you know, I think is a good decision. Blink Stalkers against Terrans are pretty decent. But I would imagine Charge-Out Archon being the better route to go here against Terran. You know, Blink Stalkers against Marauders, they're not very good at all. So, is he going to go for Charge-Out Archon? Yeah, there we go. So there's a charge upgrade. I was a little confused right there for a second because White wasn't doing anything with his Twilight Council. But now he's getting charged. It almost certainly is going to be Charge-Out Archon at this point in the game. And this is really interesting because a lot of Protoss players in nowadays Protoss versus Terran, they are starting to use Charge-Out Archon almost 100% of the time against Terrans. They're not really using that Colossus play nearly as much anymore, and I feel like a lot of Protoss players are doing that because of the Viking. Vikings are really, really good against Colossus, especially in large numbers. Marauders are decent against Colossus as well, as you can snipe them out. And so a lot of Protoss players are now kind of relying on this cheap, expendable style of army, which is basically just a crap ton of charge lots. You get a bunch of warp gates in your main, and you can kind of dump all that minerals that you have, all that surplus, into 100 mineral zealots, and you can just get a bunch of zealots on the field, and you get a bunch of archons, and you know, it's a much more easier way, I feel like, to play Protoss versus Terran. But then you've got to deal with the Ghost, and you know, the Ghost, one EMP shockwave can just eliminate all the zealot shields. It can eliminate the archons shields as well. So it's something that, you know, Protoss players definitely have to deal with. But where is that Templar Archives? Is it on the way yet? I thought for sure. There it is. So there's the Templar Archives, and there's a ton of Zealots warping in. So White is going for Charge-Out Archon. SCV comes in here. Very smart from MMA. He just wants to scout to check the composition, and he sees that. And upon seeing Charge-Out Archon, I would imagine he's going to get a Ghost Academy here. Right now he's just getting an armory though, so he's getting the armory for +2/+2 on the engineering bay. But you know, he's really, I feel like he's really going to want to get some Ghosts in his composition fairly soon here. Right now just primarily Marines and Marauders, and you know what's really intriguing about this is no medevacs. No medevacs at all. Just the first two right now about to join the field, so he can't really make a push out until he gets medevac support. And that's just because Marines and Marauders, while they're good, they can really, they really shine when they have some, you know, medics supporting them from the skies. And here we are. It looks like MMA finally comfortable with pushing out. So we're going to have the standard Bio Ball versus Charge-Out Archon. Pretty standard stuff. Wydra is going for a pretty quick fourth here now. Oh, the Stalker is going to lead the Marines and Marauders back to the Nexus. And does MMA see it? Yes, he does. And upon seeing that, I think he's just going to go ahead and go right for the snipe. But at the same time, he's going for 2 medevac drops into the main, and this is what MMA is really, really good for. He's known to be a Marine medevac abuser. Even against Uruk, even against Protoss, it doesn't matter. He's extremely well-versed in dropping multiple locations. Now, he's canceled the Nexus. How much damage is he going to be able to do inside the main? A couple of pylons have gone down so far, using some Stutter Step Micro against the charge lots. But all in all, you know, I think Wydra held that off pretty well. And now Wydra moving across the field with all of his army. His charge lots intercepting the Marines and Marauders, forcing a stim out of MMA. And MMA has to get his units back. A 1 force field goes down, 2 force fields go down. Not too sure about those force fields. I think Wydra just kind of had those force fields set to go. And you know, he wasn't really microing his sentries, but a little bit of wasted energy. It's not going to hurt too much, though. And now, Whiterun switching into Colossus play. And he's got a Warp Prism full of 4 High Templars! Okay, so this is what Protoss players do a lot of time in Terran versus Protoss. They will hide their Templars inside Warp Prisms to protect them from the Ghosts and the EMP Shockwave, as there are 3 Ghosts now out on the field for MMA. At the same time, going for a Colossus tech switch is going to be really powerful, because if MMA invests too much in the Medivacs, which he is starting to do right now, he is not going to have any Vikings at all to deal off the Colossus. So, Whiterun playing very intelligently. This is definitely high-level play from our Protoss player, and all of a sudden now we actually have MMA going for a mass drop into the main. There are 3 cannons to greet those Marines and Marauders, but it looks like MMA is just going to overpower that, not even choosing to stim, so he's saving his stim for the right moment, and here comes 4 High Templar. At the same time, Whiterun pushing out in the middle of the field. There's a massive storm going down on those Marines and Marauders. Oh my god! Everything getting torn asunder, and MMA in a lot of trouble. All of a sudden, all these charges are running in, but EMP Shockwaves just annihilating all of the shields for these Zealots. And at this end of the day, it may still not be enough, because there are so many Chargers and Archons inside of MMA's main. Whiterun, at the same time, actually having a little bit of trouble dealing with the Marine Marauder drop, as a couple of M&Ms were still alive despite the massive storm, and I think that's because MMA invested so heavily into his Medivacs, so they have no energy, those Medivacs. They were healing up so much to keep those units alive. And inside the main, we have hold position micro from the SCVs. Just action all over the map right now. A lot of SCVs, so I think going down at this point in the game, 33 workers killed, 34 workers killed. Oh man, MMA taking huge hits in his economy in this game. And it may actually be just too much to recover from. He is now at 83 supply. He's barely holding on to his main as it stands. Looks like his force over here was dispatched pretty easily. And MMA, with that play, you know, he held on pretty valiantly, but I wonder, is he going to be able to pull back in this game? It doesn't look like it. Whiterun going crazy, using those special tactics to his fullest advantage. Love the Warp Prism with the 4 High Templars, shuttling right into the main. And now, whoa, buddy, hold your horses there. You don't want to get your Colossi ahead of yourselves. You know, you got special tactics, Whiterun, but I don't know how, if that's, you know, I don't know if that's a little bit too special. So he is waiting for his charge lock reinforcements now. It looks like MMA pulling back 3 Medivacs, sending 2 more fully loaded Medivacs to go harass Whiterun. These 3 Medivacs actually don't even have to worry about a thing, as there's no really anti-air on the ground. At the same time, Whiterun may need to get some forces back home to deal with this. His warp gates are on cooldown, but the cycle just completed. Now warping in a bunch of charge slots, but he may need a little bit more reinforcements than that. In the meantime, Whiterun doing some pretty good work, guys, at the 3rd expansion. And oh my god, those SCVs are done for! They are running the gauntlet, and they all just went down! That was disastrous for MMA. At the same time, though, he was able to cut all production in the warp gates of Whiterun. So, this game is actually getting super intense, guys. Whiterun, MMA fighting back a little bit, I feel like. Our Terran player trying to do whatever he can to get back in this game. His SCV count hopelessly, deliriously behind right now. Ludicrously behind. He's still fighting inside his main to recover any semblance of order over chaos. And at the same, actually he's doing a little bit of a harass over here at the 4th. Actually, he may be able to pick off this Nexus. I don't think Whiterun is going to be able to warp in any units, because he lost all power. Somebody call the power company and repower these warp gates. There we go. Some cable guy probes coming in to reconnect the cable lines into those warp gates, and now they're going to be repowered. But MMA actually buying himself a little bit of breathing room by shutting down the entire production facilities of Whiterun's. I actually like it, and at the same time he was able to kill off the Nexus. And wow, guys, if we look at the supply, it's 80 to 87, so even though MMA is desperately behind in SCVs, he actually has a lot of his food concentrated in army right now, whereas Whiterun, after losing all of his production cycles on his warp gates, does not. Now probes going down. Is MMA about to pull the biggest comeback of the century? I cannot believe this. He has a lot of Medivacs here. They've been recuperating energy over time. Now the warp gate's actually just going down permanently. They are going offline permanently. This is no temporarily cut to the power. This is take the warp gate, tear it in half, and throw it in the garbage can. And MMA is doing great work right now. He's even dropping right into the 3rd as well. There is a photon cannon in the back, but I don't think that's going to be enough. As long as MMA just stays to the side here, he can actually pick off the Nexus. No, the Colossus coming back down to deal with that. But Whiterun losing his entire main base. All the production of Whiterun's forces has now just gone offline. They are down for the count. And all that White Rare's got is 2 robotics facilities producing Colossus. And, you know, as good as Colossus are, I'm afraid they're not really good without any fodder units in the back to protect them. So White Rare here trying to deal with what remains. He may be able to clear it up. Yeah, he's going to be able to push it away, but he's going to have to re-establish his production ASAP. Get those warp gates back online and get things rolling again. Let's just take a look at the workers killed. 66 to 41. So MMA has pulled back a little bit in terms of you know, the probes that he's killed so far. His production at the same time is actually fully online. He's got a bunch of barracks all added on with tech labs or reactors. He's once again continuing the harass inside the main as well. You're gonna finish off the final last standing warp gate. And he's also getting +3/+3 at the same time too, so his bio units, you know, his soldiers on the ground are about to receive their lethal round of upgrades. And when that happens, the concussive shells and the Gauss fire just do obscene amounts of damage. I don't know if White Rare is even keeping up in upgrades. No, he's just been getting shields, armor. Which is the best upgrade to get against bio from Terran players, but he hasn't been keeping up in terms of weapons. And this could be bad. MMA pulling back a huge comeback in this game now. Has a very large army. Has even started to mix in some Vikings to deal with the Colossi. He may end up going to drop into the third. There are warp gates now being freshly reproduced. If MMA wants to, he can actually pick off those warp gates once again. Just further halting White Rare's production. But it looks like MMA not going to commit. Just kind of poking and diddly-daddling at the front door. And now he's going to go ahead and pull back. Interesting. This is a really hectic game right now. I mean, both players actually kind of a lull in the game right now as they're struggling to recover their dilapidated production facilities, their entire infrastructure just kind of being rebuilt right now. But I feel like MMA may just be a little bit ahead. I mean, he has re-SCV'd up to 27. He's just a little bit behind White Rare. He has more bases, and actually no, they have the same amount of bases. I feel like he has more production than White Rare by a little bit. But actually, I don't know, guys. In fact, both armies kind of look the same right now. You know what? I throw in the white towel. I think both players here just are doing a remarkable job of getting back in this game, playing very solid StarCraft 2. White Rare's Colossi count has actually become quite large now. This is just completely up in the air, guys. I really am just going to bow down and respect the mad StarCraft skills. The mad skills from these two players. That's right, I said it. And MMA gonna go ahead and drop once again. White Rare trying to re-secure the third. That is not gonna happen. Or maybe it will happen. Okay, so it will happen. White Rare's gonna go ahead and come back and defend. One thing though that I think MMA is ahead in is map control and map vision, map awareness, yada yada yada. Simply because he has medevacs, he has control of the center of the map with various units placed all throughout. And that's actually pretty big, because now if MMA wants, he can expand at will. White Rare, though, looking to not let that happen. He's going to push out across the field with a very large army here. This could be troubles for our Terran player. Vikings getting a round of volleys on that Colossi, reducing its shields to 0, also reducing its buddy shield to 0 as well. White Rare, is he going to commit here? He has 7 Colossus on the field. Oh my god. The factory floating across, it is not going to see the light of day any longer, as it is now burning in the air, and it will go down. Will MMA's forces be enough to overcome that massive, the massive amount of Colossi in the field? And I say massive because consider that White Rare lost his main basically twice, lost his third as well, lost all of his production, and yet he was still able to produce this many Colossi. That is just insane for, you know, for how much damage he's taken in this game. Now MMA is securing this fourth expansion here, and this is as a result of him having map control. White Rare's going to have to do something about that, as SCVs are now Maynarding over, and that's going to give MMA a huge kick in the pants in terms of income. 5 mules getting dropped down. Watch his mineral count just skyrocket right now. That is going to provide a very fresh influx of resources needed for the Battle of War. White Rare at the same time now going to be pushing out. This could be the battle we've been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. Here it goes. Vikings getting massive volleys on those Colossi, but not quite reducing any Colossi down to 0 HP yet. 2 of them in the red. 2 of them in the red, and it looks like the Vikings can't really focus them down. MMA needs to focus his battle, his focus fire of the Vikings on those Colossi, and White Rare just pushing in right here, but this is a great concave, I think, for MMA. MMA may have enough forces to break this down. It's going to be a very close battle. 2 Colossi remain, 1 Colossi remains, and MMA kills off the entire army. I cannot believe it. GG, well played from Whitera. Wow, that was such a hectic game. I cannot believe MMA just came out with the win, and you know, a lot of that I think comes down to his 3-3 Marines and Marauders. 3 armor, 3 weapons. Unfortunately for Whitera, only having 2 shields or 2 armor the entire game. The upgrade advantage certainly won the day. Actually, it was 2-1 for Whitera. But he was certainly hopelessly behind, and wow, that was a really, really good Protoss versus Terran. So, guys, we are going to move into a third and final game between Whitera and MMA. I hope you guys have been enjoying this series so far. My sugar high may be wearing down a little bit, so I got to go ahead and go right to the next game. So I'll see you guys in the next video. HD is signing.